Good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome to the Emma Reeperbahn and German live music market session. It's lovely to see so many of you here. My name is Jess Partridge, and I am the Executive Director of Emma. I'll be leading the session today, not only moderating, but also making sure everything goes okay. We normally have more staff, but as is the end of summer and things, we're making do. So just a bit more about Emma, in case you haven't been to one of our sessions before or you don't know. We unite music manager organization across 16 European countries with 17 members. And we represent more than 3,000 managers across Europe. We've made it our mission to strengthen European managers globally through our Empower program, which encompasses a lot of things, including education, advocacy, networking, and research. And this is a project co-funded by the European Union. If you'd like to know more about us or you want to stay up to date with our events, we have some great ones coming up on Sync and lots of other brilliant elements. So definitely worth checking out. Make sure you visit our website, head to the event section, follow us on social media, and join our WhatsApp group. I'll be sharing all the links in the chat shortly, but you can find out more about all the things we do and connect with us in many ways through those. You'll also find a general manager's contact list. So anyone's here who wants to share a little bit more about what they do and maybe connect with other managers that come to our sessions, you can just check out the spreadsheet and you can find out what other people are looking for and what they're doing. And also through the WhatsApp as well. And just a reminder that when you log off the Zoom at the end of the session, we will have a super brief survey. And please take a moment to fill that out, as your feedback really does help us tailor these sessions to your needs. And yeah, today the event is moderated by me. So I am going to jump straight into it. Normally we have an agenda up, and I will just let you know quickly what we'll do. First, I'll introduce all of our panelists, and then Norman here will give a quick overview of the German market. And then we'll jump into a discussion about Reeperbahn, the German live music market, how you can build from one to the other, and how you can really use Reeperbahn as a spring step. And we'll also be finding out what's new at Reeperbahn this year. I can't wait. I think it's going to be my sixth Reeperbahn, and it's definitely one of the best across Europe. So thanks again to my wonderful panelists for being here. It's lovely to see you again. And if you could just introduce yourselves and say a little bit more about what you do in a couple of minutes. So Tessie, if you'd like to start.
Okay, hello, my name is Tessie Schulz. I'm based here in Berlin, Germany. I'm now exactly 25 years in the music industry. I was 12 years with a major record company, and now for almost the same time, I'm running my own little entity, mainly focused on artist management, but as well a lot of consultancy and a lot of association work. So I'm on the board of EMUG, which is the German MMF, and I'm as well on the board of Emma. So therefore, I meet Jess very often, at least virtually. And yeah, and I go, I don't know for how many years to Reeperbahn, and I will be there again this year. And so lovely, happy to share, yeah, my little insights from a view of a manager, an industry person to you guys. And so over to Evelyn.
Yes, thank you.
Said 25, I had to think. So I'm Evelyn. So it's 22 years in the music industry. I've always worked in the jungle of the conferences. So was with Womex for quite some time and 8 years, I believe, and with Reeperbahn Festival for 15 years now. I'm leading the partnership department. And yeah, I'm very familiar with the event. I hope I can give you some insights and share some information. Very unfortunately, Max, our head booker, as well as our innovation manager, can't join us today because he had a very short notice of an illness in his family. So I'm trying to fill his shoes, but of course, in his position, he's more of a truffle pig, as we say in Germany, of digging out the good stuff. So, but I'm hoping to give you as much as I can.
Very appreciated. Thanks, everyone. Norman, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi everyone. I'm Norman. I've been in the music, I don't know how long I've been in the music industry, but I've started working as a music journalist in 1998. And then through subculture and various roles in culture and nightlife and music scenes, I've joined Hamburg Music in 2017, and we are the regional network for Hamburg's music business. We work closely together with Reeperbahn Festival for Reeperbahn Festival. I am head of PR at Hamburg Music, but I also am responsible for Hamburg Music's Reeperbahn Festival project, which is called Hamburg House, a dedicated place for Hamburg's music businesses to have a presentation, a stage. You can do showcases with me. You can have conference program slots, and we have a 3-day program across 2 venues actually. So we've grown over the years, and I'm also quite familiar with Reeperbahn Festival by now, I would say. Doing this for the 8th year now, I think, or 7th. Yeah, apart from that, I'm still a music journalist, a DJ, and several other not so relevant hats. Oh, and I'm also at South by Southwest each year, usually producing Hamburg's presentation as well as the German house for Initiative Musik. So I've been involved with that also since 2018. So yeah.
And in case you're wondering about the weird microphone setup, because Hamburg is a tiny city, uh, we are by lucky coincidence, Norman and I are sharing offices, so our companies are in the same office. So we decided to actually we should get a beer and do this together in one room, because then you feel less lonely.
Where's the beer though?
I have no idea. I thought you were in charge. Never let the man get in charge.
But thank you so much, everyone. So as you can see, we have a range of expertise and a lot of experience from Reeperbahn. I just want to say before we move on, there are 2 quick things. Please ask questions whenever you want in the chat, and I will just work them into the conversation. So we'll make sure we get to everyone's questions, and there will be time at the end, especially for that, if you have anything specific. But just, yeah, share at any time. We'll be paying attention. And the other thing is, if you are, well, we try and talk clearly and slowly, but if you would prefer to have captions, please click the 3 dots at the bottom, and you can see the option for captions, and you'll be able to get our wonderful voices, but in text at the bottom, which can really help sometimes. So without further ado, Norman, would you love to give us a presentation on the German music market? We'd like to find out more.
I do love to. I cannot share screen. Is that possible for me to share my screen?
Probably
Yes. Can you
request authorization.
I think you should be
Ah,
able
there
to.
we go. There we go. It looks better now.
There you
Oh God, I'm sorry. I have not worked with this. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry for
No
this.
one's used to Zoom anymore. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's actually okay. Let's see. Okay, let me try again.
I can tell a joke in the meantime.
Yeah, please do.
Oh, please. I'm very bad. Very bad with that.
Just so you know, in the meantime, I have shared the Emma WhatsApp chat for Reeperbahn in the chat. And that's just a place for anyone who is a manager to connect with other managers that are at Reeperbahn. We already have a good number in there. And if you go through to the settings on it, you'll also find all of our other WhatsApp groups. We have them for different genres and different events and, you know, just some general musings as well. If you want to ask questions to other managers, it's a great place to find out more. I would also love to share our, we'll be hosting a super fun reception at Reeperbahn this year. It's a great place to begin connecting with not only managers, but many other people. I've put the RSVP in the chat as well, so please put your names down, and we hope to see you there. We'll have some drinks and all kinds of things, maybe some sushi, that kind of thing. And it's at the East Hotel, which is the main hub for the event this year, I believe.
Yes, it is.
Norman, I can see.
You can see me struggling. That's good.
I can see something that doesn't seem right.
That's coming good.
Oh. Yeah, well, that shouldn't be like that. Yeah, I wish I would have been able to join earlier, so we could have done this little technicality earlier. So
Well,
Okay.
in the meantime, I have one question.
yes,
If you want to try.
well, I'll keep trying. I'm not giving up.
No,
Well, let's move on.
I've seen the presentation, it's worth it, but maybe just one question, because I see many names here that I'm familiar with, that I've seen or whom I know. Maybe you can just by signage say who has been to Reeperbahn Festival before, just give us a thumbs up or something like that.
Yeah, use the react button to let us know if
React
you
button, yeah.
Nuno,
I know.
Claudio. Okay.
I think I'm almost. How's this?
Ooh, that looks good.
That's
Great.
better, yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, now I just need to start the presentation and then we're, oh, I'm sorry for this, guys. I really am. I usually am not this.
Okay, so most of you seem to have been to Reeperbahn before. Well, a good amount. So you'll have the basics and we'll focus on
Exactly.
new.
Here we go. All right. So sorry for this. I'm very sorry. German music market. Here we go. I'm Norman Müller. I have introduced myself. I'm not gonna talk so much about Hamburg music. We are the first and largest regional music business network in Europe. I'm very confident that we are the most active in Europe as well. We do lots of stuff regarding internationalization, advocacy. I'm getting some.
Da hat nur jemand sein Mikro.
Okay. And we present companies. We represent companies in all branches of the music industry. So it's from publishing, labels, managers, venues, bookers. They're all under our umbrella. Yeah, this is just some of our fields of work. Networking is an important one, obviously. Lobbying, we're working with the local administration and politics, and we do lots of project work in qualification, city marketing, and lots of other things. These are some of our projects. Music Business Summer School is starting next week, and then we'll have Hamburg House as our main hub, our main venue at Reeperbahn Festival. Some might have heard of Music Cities Network. Yeah, this is just some of our work. Germany, what are the main music cities? What are the main music regions? There's obviously Berlin, and then there's Hamburg, the two main hotspots for music business in Germany. But then there's also the Rhine-Ruhr region, recently made famous because I think Taylor Swift had some warm words for Gelsenkirchen. There's lots of music events going on there. Munich and Cologne also quite important. Some might know the CO Pop Convention in Cologne, which is an important music business hotspot each year. when it comes to Hamburg, we have not just, but a little while ago, there's the beer, great. We have released a study about the Hamburg music business in general, because it's always nice to have numbers when it comes to having a dialogue with politicians and proving how important we are to the local industry in general. We have a gross value added by the music industry in Hamburg, let's say 1 billion euros. That means we generate 20% of the total gross value added that is generated by the music industry in Germany. We have here a economic development and a forecast regarding live music, recorded music in Germany. So you can have a little idea of how it's growing. There's obviously a dip in the pandemic, and since then there has been steady growth, and more growth is projected. I'm not going to go into too much detail on these graphics because otherwise I won't make it through this presentation. However, I am willing to share this presentation after this session. No problem. Anyone interested, we'll find a way.
Thanks so much.
We have two collecting societies in Germany. There's GEMA and for the performance and the mechanical royalties. And then there's the GVL, the GVL for neighboring rights. These are the two organizations that handle all that has to do with rights. Regarding live music, we also have a forecast and development graph for the live music sector. Similar development. I'm not sure if I should analyze this at this moment.
That's more beer at the bar.
What?
That's a bar topic to analyze the numbers.
Then the live music market, this is not as clear cut as it is on this graph, as you can imagine. Sometimes the venues are also the promoters. Sometimes agents are working on EU and also the federal Germany level. But this is usually, the way it goes. And when it comes to companies, I have a little, an attempt of a tier list. It's basically just two tiers, I guess. We have FKP Scorpio and Live Nations as the biggest companies in this sector. And then we have a bunch of mid-sized to, I don't know how to, mid-sized, I guess is the right word, players on the live music market. In Hamburg, we have Carsten Janke and Hamburg Konzerte. Goethe is also in Hamburg, and
there are quite some few of those are in Hamburg actually.
Yeah.
But to understand
also in Hamburg,
understand the German market, like Hamburg has always been like a more of industry city, like more money making kind of. It's the city they had.
It's been a trade hub because of the harbor.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Berlin is, creative and crazy but the money usually
Comes from
Hamburg. No, it's changing, of course, but that's the traditional way.
Yeah.
Shall I jump in here or what? I'm from
Yes, you can, of course.
Kill us.
All right, big festivals in Germany. This is I just updated this today. Many might have heard of Wacken Open Air, which is interesting that it's the biggest one because it's a very a specific festival focused on heavy metal. I use the word heavy metal as a very broad word, but it's hard guitar oriented music at Wacken. Rock am Ring, Rock im Park, sister festivals, huge, big tradition. They've always been around ever since I can remember. Fusion is under the radar because it's a non-corporate communist festival with lots of electronic music. And then there's Hurricane and many more. Oh, the other key festivals, it's a bit weird because this is still the old numbers. So Perukaville is currently at 75,000 and also part of this graph. And yeah, this is the attendance of the biggest festivals. So we have quite a bunch of those. Another tier list regarding live music. What are the most important touring cities? We've had this graph and it's kind of represented here as well. Berlin, Hamburg, Cologne, Munich as the key biggest single cities. And then we have tiers 2 and 3, which are not separated here. And there's a bunch of other cities. Especially, I think the Rhine-Ruhr region is also very important for touring because it's just a bunch of cities cluttered together with yeah, over 10,000 people all in all. So Düsseldorf, I think, sort of still belongs to that region.
Kinda.
Dortmund, Essen.
Not 10,000 or 100,000.
What did I say?
10.
A million.
A million, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 10 million. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
10 million. Okay, regarding recorded music, we have a little historical graph. I guess it's similar to other countries. Here's a bigger version. We see the advent of streaming since the pandemic. It has gone really crazy. Vinyl has been coming back for over 10 years. The comeback of the CD is not happening in Germany at the moment, but there was a little rise in 22. And yeah, also some nice little historical events like the high noon of ringtones can be seen here in 2006. Those were the days. Here's another graph for the same situation. Digital is obviously the biggest market with 78% audio streaming, and followed by CDs still, and then vinyl. And digital other, I don't know what other digital, maybe probably downloads. No, I'm not sure about this one. Yeah, this is genres. Which genres are successful? Audio streams being the most important. It's pretty varied, with pop being in the lead, but less so than 10 years ago. Interestingly, hip hop has risen in popularity, but it's also a little bit on the downward journey. And yeah, I guess it's interesting to compare how the vinyl people are mostly rock guys and girls, apparently. Yes. Again, if anyone wants to spend more time with these graphs, you're invited to request this presentation from either me or Jess.
Yeah, we'll share it afterwards.
Yeah.
No problem. Okay.
All right, some more recorded forecast. Well, it basically says less physical, more streaming. Not sure if this is very relevant. The streaming services, Spotify is still the biggest one, followed by YouTube, and Deezer. And I think I'm gonna skip these. I'm just
Yeah, it would be great. We can move on to the Reeperbahn section.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's see here. Still have some on publishing, but I'm gonna skip this as well. Music.
Oh,
Oh, unless you're interested.
No, it's okay. We'll share this with everyone afterwards.
Yeah,
We'll
perfect,
make
perfect.
sure.
Okay, so that's my little introduction to the German music market. Try to keep it current. Any questions? I hope I can answer.
There's one question.
Yeah.
Is Volksmusik world folk music?
Come again?
Is Volksmusik world folk music?
No. Oh, that is a fantastic question. Volksmusik, yes. That is our German, yeah, it's folk. It comes from it's the same etymology, the word, but it is, yeah, I don't know. I was not prepared for these questions. It's lots of brass, lots of polka-like umta rhythms, but also Schlager is a kind of Volksmusik and Schlager is kind of
It's kind of the party music as well. Like if you're familiar what the Germans do to the poor people of Mallorca, you know what the British do to what's the other city? So we do it to the Ballermann. So it's really dance. Well, Tessie, but maybe you can
But
also.
this is Schlager, what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Volksmusik is more like, yeah, folk, very regional, very
Okay.
handmade.
Yeah, but they're
Yeah.
interlocked kind of.
Yeah.
yeah.
Great, thank you. If you could stop sharing, Norman, that'd be great.
Stop
Oh,
sharing.
I'm still sharing? Okay.
Yeah, we can still see your screen. Thanks.
Okay. Done.
Okay, cool. So let's dive straight in. Thank you for that overview of the German market. We've got a kind of grounding and especially promoters and festivals and those kind of live music elements that we really want. And I could see some really useful stuff about PR and everything as
Yeah.
well. I know that we have a lot of people very interested in that. So we would definitely share it afterwards so that everyone can get that
Yes.
information and maybe find some key partners to work with, because that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
So first of all, let's just dive into Reeperbahn. Evelyn, this is your area. It would be great to hear, firstly, what's new at the festival this year, and what would be your key advice? What would be your route through the festival?
Well, what's new, of course, you know, we always try to move forward, and one of the things is that we are a bit it's massive, and people are losing the sense of orientation. So this little pre possibility to get some insights before will hopefully help you guys. But so one of the things which is new is that we're trying to concentrate. So the whole conferences will be in the East Hotel, where your reception will be. You know, there will be receptions all over, obviously, but so this will be the main conference hub, with all the conferences being there. Then we have some partner conferences, also some new ones, which is the Afrofuturistic Convention, which will focus on also female, but also, you know, from the African continent, content, which will happen in the Schmidt House. We also have some new and old awards at Reeperbahn Festival. So there's the International Journalism Award, which will be run with the Republika, which is a very which also hosts one of our partner conferences during Reeperbahn Festival, which is focusing on new topics within the it's more media driven. So the Republika in Berlin is an event which is huge in Berlin, and they have a little side conference during Reeperbahn Festival. So, you know, meeting new developments in media, new developments in online digital formats for that will be there, and they are presenting the award for international journalism. And yeah, so that's kind of what we've concentrated on, reshaping, and yeah, and then having the best program, I believe.
How many bands roughly you're playing this year? How many venues do you have as well?
About 400 bands, and we have Is it 400 bands? Yeah, I think 450 shows, 400 bands. We have about music venues. We have about 35 overall. We have about 80 venues that we use for all, you know, also our conferences and all of this. But putting the final numbers together as we speak, because of course there are many departments working on different things, but this should be the rough outline.
Yeah, I mean, it always feels huge. And I think definitely my advice would be make sure you, if there's something you really want to see, make sure you get down nice and early, make sure you're there. And yeah, the crowds are always so great. So be prepared for
There's a
if
delegates lane as well, so it does help if you have a delegates pass, and of
and
course
if you're playing,
has a
expect
discount. Yeah.
good crowds for sure. Tessie, love to hear from you a bit more about your experience at Reeperbahn and also just what you would recommend, especially to managers who are maybe coming for the first time. There's a lot to say, I'm sure, especially for before, during, and after. But let's just start with while you're there.
Yeah, I try to keep it compact. So what I would always recommend going, especially first time, I'm as well sometimes the first goer to other conferences, so it's always good to get this insight here. So if in the case you have a delegate's pass, so you can register, you look at the database, you first need to know, why am I going to Reeperbahn? Oh, I need a new label, I need PR people for Germany, I need whatever the goal is. Scan through the delegates database, reach out to the people, make sure you set up a meeting up front. Don't wait until you're in Hamburg, that is all too late. I'm already booked out fully for 3 days, and because there's so much happening, so do this upfront. Then in terms of again, for sure you check the schedule, which is now what I hear from Evelyn, great, that everything from the panels is happening at one place. So you don't have to run between panels, you know, even if saying this as well to newbies here for Reeperbahn, 90% of the whole festival, apart from some shows or whatever, are very in walking short distance. This is so wear your sneakers, whatever, and then you're easy to go. But having the whole conference in one is perfect. So you definitely don't gonna be. So make as well your schedule, make the meetings parallel to the panels. Look as well if you want to meet one or the other of the panelists, reach out to them as well beforehand, because they're going to be busy and probably have to leave again or just flying in. Then as well, it's all about networking. Apart from, you know, if you're going there as yourself, just as a manager, and your artists are not performing, so you try to go there, make the first, you know, basic contacts, probably then coming next year with your artists. Network. There's as well what Norman already mentioned, tons of booking agencies are in Hamburg, and so as well you already saw many on the list from Norman, but as well otherwise ask us, you know, who else we can recommend, search what the rosters are as well, set up a meeting. They as well, I experienced this as well with other colleagues from abroad, even during Reeperbahn, they meet at their offices, you know, if it's important, because half of the crew as well is not running around Reeperbahn. So sit with them, have a meeting, and even if your artist is playing, do this up front, take them really by the hand, make a meeting, bring them to the show, give them a drink, and then, you know, you have 2-3 potential, you know, future bookers for your artist. Then plus as well, for sure, if you're new, you don't know that many people. So therefore here, especially we, us at Emma, many of us going to be there. We will be as well. Everyone's going to be busy, so you cannot expect everyone, you know, is taking you by hand going around. First of all, as well, everyone having a different agenda. But I'm sure as well, Jess, I can help as well. We're going to provide as well a list of, there are tons of receptions. Every company, from a major label, from a major publisher to an indie publisher to booking agencies, they all have their receptions. Mainly, the most are on Thursday, so you can never make them all.
They always
And-
clash, yes.
And don't be afraid. Many of this is only by invitation. Yeah, many are with invitation, but as well, many invitation, I even can't get in because it's crowded. So you don't get.
Yeah.
Last year I experienced this twice, but just go where it happens, because everyone's standing on the street. You don't have to go inside. Everyone's there. So just know where it is. And if you're interested in searching for a new publisher or for a booking agency and you heard they're doing reception, just pass by. People are going to stay there. And at one point as well, they hand you out a beer like Evelyn just did to Norman. So you as well get served.
Hamburg way.
They do, and that's a really good point, Tessie. And we will, in the WhatsApp chat, if you join it, we will share a list of the receptions that we've seen that you can RSVP to. They are an amazing place to meet people, and especially if you're choosing carefully about what it is, what your aims are. I think it's very important to think about your aims before you go to an event like this. Especially, we'll get into strategy after the festival and how you build into the German live market afterwards in a minute. But you need to have that strategy in mind so that you can approach these events, the receptions, and also just people that you're speaking to clearly and let them know what you're looking for. It might not be them that is able to help you, but they will probably know someone who can.
Yeah. Now, just one last thing here is as well, because you said this in the agenda or whatever, what we have to think about, if you have an artist or you have a project or whatever, and for sure you just have 5 minutes with this potential new partner on the street. What I experienced, especially the last 2-3 years, and I did it myself, have a QR code to the one pager of your artist. People scan it, they have it on their phone, and because there's no time to go into detail. And anyway, we all forget because on the secondary, like,
and we lose the physical things.
And always make, when you left someone when you think it was interesting, make a note and approach them probably 2 weeks after the festival, because the week after everyone's dead. But 2 weeks after, it's a good follow-up. Just wanted to.
I would definitely say write down the names of the people you meet, or take photos of people's passes. Just say, oh, can I take a quick photo? So you have a record and you know who it was. You can look at them up in the delegate directory afterwards. It's available, so you can then just send a follow-up. I think it's
I always like to take a picture together and because that's a good wake up line, being like, hey, here's our picture. Remember me, blah blah blah. And also because just in the beginning you were asking about new things, but when we are talking about advice on how to handle it, for those who haven't been, or also for those who haven't been in a while, what if you're not so familiar and you don't know exactly, because a lot of events that are happening at Reeperbahn Festival you can find on our webpage. Then there are a lot of side events as well. We partner with like we are on good terms, so we partner with most of them, but also if you have time to browse, if you have time to feel and to connect, what I would definitely recommend is start on the Tuesday. Because there we have the Berlin experience, which is.
I will link to that now in the chat so everyone can.
Yeah, because that's actually so nice, because it's just about 120 people. It's and it was originally aimed at delegations from overseas, because they don't want to just travel to Hamburg for to Germany without visiting Berlin. So it was this kind of stopover to Hamburg, but now it's open. It's for several years it's been open to everyone, and so it's a day of a little bit of networking, office visits, just some information about the Berlin market. You get introduced to some key players. There's office visits and stuff, which is really nice. And then everybody hops on the same train. We have several compartments that are reserved for Reeperbahn Festival visitors only. So there are bands playing, it's networking and stuff. And that's awesome, because
bands playing on the train?
Yep.
Oh, didn't know that.
And so basically you can get to know a small group of people, and then especially if you're traveling on your own, it's like hook into some, and because they want to explore. I mean, you can already meet also people from Canada, Korea, Taiwan, Australia, whatever, but a lot of Germans and Europeans as well, and there are people joining just for the train as well, who are not joining for the day activities. So if you're in Berlin before, so even Tessie, right? Yeah, it's the Flix train. The fast train is not going at the moment anyway, so it will take you longer anyway. So you might go on the Flix train. And that's I think is a really good starting point. And then on the web, because you meet people in a small environment that can, drag you to receptions and stuff. And
No
then
one can leave on the train.
no one can leave. Yep. Nobody. And then there's beer on the train as well, by the way, Prost. Und du hast nicht Prost
Ja, okay,
gesagt,
cheers.
was geht das nicht?
Sorry.
And then on the Wednesday, if you come to Reeperbahn, because we have a B2 beer garden, which is the conference, the panel activities and everything is in the east, but it's also a really cozy outside area right on one of our two main squares.
Sure.
And on Wednesday we have a welcome reception there from, I believe it's from 3 till 6 or something like that, or 5, no, whatever.
We'll have the information in our
So
sheet.
you go grab your pass and then you can, go there, hang out, get a little bit of a sense of orientation, walk around if you're not already, because there are loads of things happening already. And then everyone, and so that's, so there's a little welcome during all days, even if there are receptions, this door is always open. So you can always go in.
There's always a place to go.
Always a place
Absolutely.
to go, and loads of different, and we only invite, so it's not like people give us money. So we want to make sure that there are partners there that bring a huge value for everyone to meet. So that's why, for example, the heavy metal people, they have a couple of things there as well. And then everyone who has a pass is invited to the opening, which is on the Wednesday evening. And there's an after show party, which is open this year, which is new to everyone. So it's also a mingling place, where you can meet a lot of people. And then Thursday, Friday, it's just boom, 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 boom. Like
Can I
madness,
just quickly
crazy.
ask even, is there nothing at the Arc Hotel this year then? That's
Yeah, there will be, there are some board meetings, and you can still use it for meetings, networking and stuff, but it's not that part of the conference program is presented there.
okay.
Yeah, we have
great.
our
There
evening
there are
meeting at our
receptions.
hotel.
Yeah, exactly. There are
We
receptions.
have our Emma
Yes,
one.
you have meetings there. Yeah.
Norman, I wanted to come to you quickly. Obviously, there with 400 bands playing, it's pretty hard to stand out. Like, what are your recommendations for artists when they're you as our local expert and also a PR expert? What would be your
How to
recommendation?
stand out in Hamburg? Yeah, I mean that's a good question. I think there is not a like a recipe that you can follow. It's always about the balance of on the one hand be not too experimental maybe, or like sort of pop oriented is always good, but you have to have a certain something, and that's of course that's very obvious.
Is there anything that people can bring to like make themselves? Do they need to put stickers all around? Is there something like? Is there a way of making yourself really?
Well, actually, that's a good point. Every now and then, every year, I see something interesting. Someone comes up with some sticker or something that somehow stands out. I don't know, like 3D like flyers that are posted on lamp posts or something. Like there's that is a possibility. I think the way to generate buzz is mostly by talking to the right people and hanging out at the right spots. Uh, I mean, apart from Reeperbahn Festival, I would say that there's lots of unconventional spaces in Hamburg as well for bands that are starting out to look beyond traditional clubs and venues. Is in Hamburg, that's a thing. There's lots of cities where there's no infrastructure apart from the traditional one, but in Hamburg we have a lot of subcultural spaces.
Yeah, I was gonna ask a bit more about Hamburg and how, like, what should artists not miss if they're looking to come back to Hamburg? Is
Yeah.
necessary, like, are there spaces they should be going to? Is there things that they should know about this city that are there magazines, are there radio stations, are there ways
Yeah.
that they can really take advantage of everything and make sure that they build this foothold in the city in order to
Yes.
leverage it for the future?
I think I think it's important to sort of build your digital story as well, like connect with music blogs. We have some of those here that are influential. We have a very important radio station called Byte FM. I'm kind of partial because I also have a radio show there, but it is quite important for Hamburg because it's a very independent, very music journalism focused radio station, presenter of lots of tours. I think it's mandatory to kind of connect with those people. I can provide an address or a link for that as well. So Byte FM is a strong player in the music media in Hamburg. Yeah, otherwise I'd say it's a good, like, if you can score like a sold out show at a small club in Hamburg, like Molotov or something, that's an excellent calling card for the rest of Germany as well.
Coming a little bit back to the question before, it's, during I think Tessie has mentioned a lot of very important things. Like if you have an artist, or if you don't have an artist, even at Reeperbahn Festival, it's making the connections first, dragging them to the show,
Yes.
have a drink budget. Sorry, yes, but people are bribable. So those are the things that
You'll
are
remember.
important. But also it's a question of also being, we are not Americans, right? We are all Europeans, so we know how it works. It's friendliness. It's not to go on people's nerves. It's making connections. It's not being too much in your face. And because a lot of people at Reeperbahn Festival, especially from the German industry, they treat it a little bit like a family's meeting. So they don't, it's a little bit, it's like, getting into their toes, talking to them and sliding in, and that's much more appreciated than full on being like out in your face.
True.
But one thing that I'm always wondering, and maybe I shouldn't even say that, but it's, why are there not street performers everywhere? Because that, like, honestly, if you're, if you know that there's a reception happening in whatever bar, and there are all the promoters, why not on the corner next to it, set up your band and have a street performance, because those are professionals and they can see professional and be like official Reeperbahn gig, so it's like, I'm not a street musician, but it's like, have a huge sign being my official gig is then and then here and there.
Yeah, have someone giving out flyers or something.
Exactly, and they will hear the quality and they will know, okay, you're not just you're not just
serious. I mean,
you're
yeah, it
serious.
shows
Exactly.
them
So
serious.
I'm always a little bit like,
I thought.
why
Now
don't
we're gonna have hundreds of them, and it's gonna be all your fault. Tessie, I know you
Well, if
wanted
there's
to add
hundreds of them,
something. Sorry,
if
Norman.
there's hundreds of them, the police can't get rid of them. So that's
No, and they wouldn't
Tessie,
during Reeperbahn.
you'd
Too
be
much
fine.
going on.
as long as you're
I
not
just
behind
wanted
the
to
whiteboard,
add an example, which is not the usual, but a couple of years ago we had an artist, a UK artist, coming for the first time to Reeperbahn. Okay, there were already before, in terms of deals, there were talks even with majors, etc. But she was 4 weeks beforehand coming. She was super active on her socials, finding the people who are in Hamburg who are as well going to Reeperbahn. I think in the end there were like more than 30 people just really. She talked to them before, and her venue, I think it was as well a great one. So just on the side street of Reeperbahn, so close, it was packed. And there were so many who already felt super familiar and close to her because she was in touch with them and interacting. So starting with who will be in Hamburg during Reeperbahn, who lives there, or who bought a ticket from the rest of Germany or from abroad, who wants to see shows. And then it developed into, and it did grow and grow, and they told us, well, their friends. So this as well, it doesn't have to work every time. Most artists, well, don't yet have, fans probably from Germany, etc. But you never know. So
Yeah.
just ask them. That's
I
Exactly.
think there's
Just don't expect magic to happen. You have to work for it. You know,
Yeah.
that's for everyone. And then also, you know,
big
because
competition.
sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes if your artist has played, you know, played several showcase festivals before and nothing happens and you did your work, maybe also think, okay, maybe it's not going to happen because each showcase festival, even though that we pay artists, but of course it's not enough for travel, covering travel. So each showcase event that you go to is an investment. So you know, and the money has to come from somewhere. So it's not, you know, and I always feel like if people are not typical, usually you have one shot when you're an upcoming artist, and there are like, even though we're talking about 400 bands, right? The newcomer slots that we can book ourselves, because it's also part of our half of our program is programmed with partners like Norman for the Hamburg House, for example, with music export offices, with labels who are actually paying for an evening to present the artists that have the most potential, right? So this takes off half of the artist. Then you have, you know, you have 200 slots, but then you have the bigger venues. Then you deduct things like we are lead partner of Key Change. So, you know, just the amount of newcomer slots that we, Reeperbahn Festival, can program ourselves is so small. So if you get the chance to perform there, it's probably a one-time slot in your during the time that you're building up your career at least. So, you know, this is exactly, you know, I think Tessie is a perfect person who can tell you exactly what to do and what not to do. But, you know, being like, ooh, I've been there, I've played, I've taught, you know, I've sent a couple of people an email before, but nothing really happened. Well, yeah, sorry. And if you did and if you did your deed and if you've done it at several showcase events and still nothing happens, then something
you need to change what you're doing.
something to think
Tessie,
about. Yeah.
I mean, would you like to speak a bit more to that, especially if people are looking to use Reeperbahn as a springboard to coming back to Germany? What would be your advice? How would you, yeah, how do you think people
Germany.
should work on that? Yeah.
But the thing is, you know, when Norman was showing the slides of, you know, touring cities and stuff, great. But my advice is always, you know, try to actually not stay away. Yes, you have to play Berlin. Yes, play Hamburg, but actually go in the student cities, because the German fans are the most loyal that there are. You know, if you catch them, they will stay true to you. They're not, you know, it is a particular thing of German music fans. So my advice is always, yeah, do that, but go in the student cities where there are people that are hungry, because Berlin is less saturated. It's like there's another gig, and it's, you know, and it's free. I'm still not coming, but you know,
Yeah.
in student cities, you can make a little bit of money. You know, there's less things happening, and you build an audience. So that's for me is one of the if I were to market a band in Germany for live touring at least, and I'm not so familiar with the other areas to be honest, but that's definitely something that I would put high on my agenda.
I would
So
I would agree. So I do think that the next logical steps after Hamburg or Reeperbahn Festival are Berlin, Cologne, Ruhr area, and Munich, probably. But definitely do not ignore those second and third tier cities. There's less competition and very dedicated audiences.
And
sorry,
there's some cities in
Sorry.
Germany that are
Tessie.
real student cities.
Mm.
So those you need to identify.
Now, I would do a mix between the two of you, because Berlin, Munich, Hamburg, Cologne are the media cities. Yeah, if you already have something to sell or there's interest from media, definitely makes sense. And as well, playing the tiny little ones, which exist as well in Hamburg, as well as in Berlin and in Munich, fine. But again, competition bigger, and we are like, we can go to 100 shows every day. So we are not that hungry. And so I would try to as well, it makes as well a bit more affordable if you do like just in between, coming from Hamburg to Berlin on the way, or then do Magdeburg, or do I don't know, Potsdam here, which is right half an hour from me here in Berlin. I would do a combination, because it brings you as well, the
Always.
time brings you as well money, as well as good for mental mentally, because they really appreciate the smaller cities. They really appreciate you coming and then playing in a small club. And this is, like Evelyn said, collect fans and then come back. And if you get
Dedicated
a
fans.
chance, player support. That's always in every.
We have a question in the chat about which are the student cities and how they find out. Any help on that would be very appreciated, and we can share that.
Probably ChatGPT can help.
Well,
But also
Tübingen and Heidelberg and
Aachen, Münster.
No, we won't just list them. So once you've been to the event, I mean, I know we've talked about collecting people's names and everything like that, but I just want everyone share one last tip about how you would move forward afterwards. Do you chase people up immediately? I mean, I know you said a week afterwards. What kind of emails do you send? And how do you really get people to pay attention? How do you know if they came to your show? Like, what would you, if you have an artist playing, what would be your way of working? Tessie, we'll start with you because you are a manager and you have, I'm sure, had artists play Reeperbahn.
It all depends how it did go when you talked or whatever, because then you for sure have a feeling. But again, I said I would make myself a list coming back from Reeperbahn, recapping, what happened. Did I see one of them, the ones I invited, did they come to the show? If they're super hungry, they come back to you anyway, but if not, if you have to follow up, which is the normal situation, like 2 weeks after, I would write them very friendly, just it was great meeting you, and give them something new then. And then, as well, not just, okay, we talked about, so what do you think? And then this person probably forgot about it because they had 200 talks during Reeperbahn. So remind them quickly, but keep it short. Put in a new link, or if you talked about an artist or a deal or whatever, put in a link and say, and by the way, and I'm not sure if you came to the show, but that was great. Here's some quotes from fans, and just give them something fresh, and then keep it short. And then if there's no reaction, there's no reaction. Then it doesn't make much sense to really, get back to them again and again. But I would give them something fresh and new, and again, keep it short, and and probably ask if there's the next conference or whatever. There's always the next year. Probably this year it wasn't for them, or the booking, they had no capacities for that genre you were presenting. But if the meeting, or they came to the show, was okay, nice, not super negative or silence complete afterwards, reach out to them again if you plan to come, whether with the artists or not, next year, Reeperbahn.
Yeah, absolutely. Use those connections year after year for sure.
Yeah.
We're out of time, but Evelyn, Norman, would you like to add anything else on that?
I would agree with all Tessie said. I would add that, I think German bookers in general love a professional presentation, clear communication, solid press kit. Unique selling point is always great. I tried to hint at that earlier.
Something that makes them stand out, yeah.
Show that you're already have been doing a lot to build up an audience, and have realistic expectations, meaning, well, be open for support slots, maybe, stuff like that. So, but the main thing I would say is be professional, be clear in your communication, be as brief as possible, and as
no one has any time at Reeperbahn. It's very, very quick.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many good points in all of this. I will just quickly wrap up. Evelyn, do you want to add anything?
No, maybe just one sentence. I asked the label manager once, if he was a manager, what would he recommend, what would he do different? And he said, answer emails. So
that to people.
That's not referring to Reeperbahn. I have nothing to add. Well, in this short time to what Tessie and Norman said, just in general, answer your emails.
Yes, absolutely. Fantastic advice, and I can't support that more. So yeah, go with the strategy, go knowing what you want to achieve, or at least an idea. When you're there, head to the receptions, make sure you're paying attention to who you meet. And when you leave, If you want to come back to Germany, especially, make sure that you are following up kindly, make sure you're professional, and make sure you send them something new. I think, oh, we have one quick question. Do Reeperbahn Festival accept artists from Latin America?
Absolutely. We have a delegation from Brazil this year for the first time. I'm putting in my email address in the chat.
That's very kind of you.
If anybody has any question that I
Reach out
cannot
to.
answer, but forward to my team. No, but we're always happy to help and to connect either before or after.
That's so kind of you. And
I will forward you the presentation so you can spread it around. Is that a good way of?
perfect. Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you all at our reception, and in the WhatsApp chat. We'll be sending around all the links ahead of the festival. Yes, we
Thank
can't
you,
wait to see you all
Jess.
there. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
having us.